Good morning, everybody at the AIG Women's Open, and welcome to the Husqvarna booth, and also welcome to From Backyard Dreams to a Career in Golf Q&A. I've got two wonderful guests alongside me. On my far side there, we've got former LET golfer and now Sky Sports golf presenter. One of the, I'm going to say, most popular personalities in the golfing industry. We see her floating about at all the different golf events, and she has got tons of fans following her around. Iona Stephen, give it up, everybody.
Yeah, the tons of fans. Thank you very much. Where are they all, Trey?
And just to her side, we have also got Swedish golfer, content creator. You'll see her online doing loads of crazy things, playing golf, loads of different challenges, which are, I always think, how many attempts does it take to do them? She's going to tell me first time, all these crazy putting challenges. One of my favorite people in the golf industry, Ellie Skoog.
Woo!
Thank you. That's very sweet. Yeah, it's always first try, in case you're wondering.
Always
but
first
yeah,
try.
that was a nice intro. Thank you, Trey.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining me, guys. Iona, I'm going to come straight to you over there, and we want to talk about. I want to know how you transition from being a player to presenting golf around the world at some of the biggest events in the game.
Well, it's been a wild journey, I'll tell you that, Trey. And sometimes I still find myself thinking, how on earth am I doing this job? And how on earth did I get here? Pinching myself yesterday, out there walking the fairways with Charlie Hull, the home favourite, and thinking, who gave me this responsibility? And when are they going to figure out that I probably shouldn't have it? But I obviously, my dream was to be a player right here at the AIG Women's Open. I went to watch this game when I was a bit younger, and it inspired me to get into the game. Hello, come and join us over here. Go, you keep putting. She's on the grind. So I remember watching this as a youngster and thinking, gosh, I want to play this game and be one of those girls out there. I watched Paula Creamer, Katrina Matthew, Kylie Walker, and I thought, I want to be on that side of the rope. And I pursued that dream with vigor. But unfortunately, I got a career-ending wrist injury very early on in my professional career, and that was obviously very difficult. And I suddenly felt like the whole rug had been pulled from beneath my feet, and I put all my eggs in this basket, much to my family's stress and concern. But it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. But thankfully, I kind of was putting energy into the world in a different way, and it led me to being asked to screen test for a job that I eventually got for Golfing World in 2019, which was a job that many people thought was a money laundering scheme because it was just too good to be true. And I got to go around the world covering the best tournaments all over the place, and just now and again had to speak to a couple of the players. Monday, Tuesday, fly home on the Wednesday. And I remember the first event I worked was in Mexico, the World Match Play in Chapultepec, and I had never interviewed a golfer in my life. And I flew out there, interview number one, Phil Mickelson,
wow,
straight out the gates. And interview number two, Molinari, who had just won the Open at Carnoustie. So I was well and truly thrown in the deep end, but somehow my little breaststroke got me through. I survived, and before I knew it, I got a call from Sky Sports asking me to join the live team in 2020. And they sort of put me in every role. I tried, if there's a job within Sky Sports, you better believe I have done it.
You haven't made cups of tea, though,
I have made plenty of cup of tea, Trey. And let me tell you, coffee, how do you like it? Milk, 2 sugars?
Oat milk, please.
Got you covered. So I just worked my way through, and now I find myself, I think back to the last few years, and everywhere I've been, presenting the Ryder Cup, part of the coverage at the Open Championship, presented and interviewed many winners around the world, a commentator on course this week at the Women's Open, of course, and I'm just having a whirlwind experience over here, and I'm wondering when my feet are going to touch the ground.
Ellie, talk to me about your journey. Where did it start for you? Because I know you've got the story of playing college golf in America, and of course, everybody knows what you do now, but where did it start for you in Sweden?
I mean, to be honest, in terms of golf, my journey started as a kid. Practically raised, I normally say, on the golf course because my dad works in the industry. He's a golf coach. So when I was 2 years old, some of my first baby pictures are me sitting in a golf shop, in a big bucket full of golf balls just surrounded by the game since I was a kid, essentially. So I played my whole life. I never really was in love with the game at first, the way that some people might describe it, the way, Iona talks about wanting to be a pro golfer, right? That was not really my dream, but I did compete. I did really enjoy it, and I saw a future some way in golf. I just didn't really know what that future was going to be, if that makes sense. So I went to college in the United States, 2015 to 2019. I played in South Carolina, which was an incredible experience, not just as a golfer. Obviously, the opportunities you get over there to work on your game, to compete at a high level, meet so many other female golfers was amazing. But I also, got a degree over there. I got to grow as a human being, as a person, as a young girl coming from Sweden, moving all the way across to the other side of the world, doing everything in a second language because English is not my first language, right? My native language is Swedish, so just growing in that aspect as well. That was an incredible experience getting to do all of that. But towards the end of my college golf career, I was very tired of golf, to be honest with you. I felt like the pressure of performing and the pressure of, having to qualify each and every week was not really what I enjoyed when it came to golf. And I feel like that joy I had at first when I came over there kind of disappeared over the years because of the highly intense environment that I was in. And knowing, from the beginning that I didn't want to be a professional golfer, I was constantly questioning what my role would be in golf or what my road or my journey would be in golf. And I actually stopped playing golf for 2 years after college. In 2019, I just put my clubs to the side. I moved to Spain. I did a completely different job in sales until I all of a sudden was like, I kind of miss golf. I kind of wanted to be a part of my life, but I just didn't know, again, what that would be. And I thought maybe the only road forward is to be a professional golfer or is to be a coach, because that's the only kind of jobs that I had seen other people do in golf. Until 2021, I believe it was, when I posted my first photo on Instagram. And then, a few years later, I'm sitting here doing that full time, the social media journey. That's definitely been also, like Iona said, a whirlwind, and I'm kind of shortening it up now, but that's been a crazy journey for me of, thinking that I didn't have a future in golf, not understanding how I could turn golf into a career besides playing professionally or coaching into what I do now, which is obviously a career that didn't exist like 5 or 10 years ago, So it's been a crazy journey from playing my whole life to stopping to play to getting back into the game and now building a career and building a business in something that didn't exist just a couple of years ago.
I've got to ask, what made you do the first post, and did you get inspired by anyone, or was it just your decision and you thought, I'm going to start to post things online and see where it takes me?
To be honest, when I think that was 2020, after the pandemic, kind of 2021, when I posted the first post on Instagram, I was extremely bored with the job that I was doing at the moment, which had nothing to do with golf. I was missing golf, but I hadn't played golf for 2 years. And I was like, I'm not sure where to start or what to do, but it might be fun to just go through like the archives of what I've got and just take an old picture and start posting. And I was kind of speaking to my partner, my boyfriend Coco, who's also my business partner at the time. And I was like, well, if we start, posting some stuff and kind of see where that takes us, and if I start playing again and start practicing and share about that, maybe that could lead to something. And then we were both like, okay, well, what if we say, let's post something every day for the next 30 days and just see where that takes us. And I started looking through my old stuff and just, okay, here's a picture from college, here's a swing video. Started posting it in 2021. I mean, now there's a lot more people in this space, but back then there was not as many people doing social media. So just did that for 30 days and, got the first 500 followers. And I was like, wow, this is insane. 500 people that want to, see my videos when I'm swinging a golf club. And then, it kind of, took off from there. It's been many years of trying to figure stuff out, but that was the very beginning.
Amazing. We love hearing the stories, don't we? Another person that's amazing at telling the stories is Iona, of course. And Iona, how has your journey shaped how you tell stories, not only when you're out there presenting and calling shots and in front of camera, but also, I don't know, I guess it's, my question is, how has your journey and your pathway shaped what you do now?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm still figuring it all out, to be honest with you. But I think I was chatting to Georgina from Golf Magic a few moments ago, and something that I was reflecting on was because of this journey I've had of this deep love of the game, a big passion for the game of golf, which I'm sure many of you, how many of you love this game of golf?
Hey,
yeah,
there we
so
go.
they all love this game of golf. And we know in this game of golf, it comes with real highs and real lows. And I've had my fair share of highs and my fair share of lows. Big heartbreak, though, for me when I had my injury that stopped my career. And I think now, Trey, I've just thought about this recently, is that has given me a level of empathy in everything I do now in the game of golf, because I take nothing for granted, and I actually just feel like everything's a bonus. Because for a while, and I was told I would never ever swing a golf club again after I had this injury, let alone have an entire career here and still be able to enjoy the game of golf. So I think maybe that empathy and that kind of emotional experience I've had through the game of golf has served me quite well in what I do now and speaking to people. And, you know, sometimes very difficult moments. I get the privilege and pleasure of speaking to the winners a lot of the time, but sometimes you get the old call from the producer in the ear going, Iona, could you just go and interview that guy that's just lost? And he's just lost on the second hole of a playoff. You think, oh, that's a really tough interview. And you think, okay, let's get sensitive here, Iona. How am I going to handle this? So I think probably, Trey, that's shaped a lot of who, I suppose, the style in which I've come into being in this space. I feel so grateful to be here, and I don't take any of it for granted, because for just a moment, I thought that it was all, in the past, and I wasn't going to be involved in this beautiful game anymore. And I'm so grateful that I am. But I am still learning all the time. So as you know, working in live TV, there's a lot going on. It's hectic, and you're learning on the job a lot of the time. I'm still learning every day that I'm out here. Amazing.
And an event that continues to grow is this one that we are at right now, the AIG Women's Open. I've been to the last 3, not as many as you, Iona, but what do you think? I've seen this event grow from my first year coming to it. What do you think? What role does TV and social media, I guess, have in continuing to make sure events like these, women's golf, continues to move in the right direction?
Well, I think that, it's always been a fabulous event, the AIG Women's Open. And whether it's been in St Andrews, the one I went to watch was in Carnoustie, it's always had this very unique atmosphere. It's kind of intimate. You get great access with the players, but it's very professional as well. And you're seeing golf and sport at the highest level and some serious talent on display. But if I think back to, the early 2000s when this event was being played out, the thing that didn't exist was social media. So it's always gone out on TV, and we've always had great coverage on TV, and live TV will continue to have its place, because nothing can compete or beat the feeling of watching somebody with a downhill left to right 4-footer to win a major championship. And that's what people tune in for. It's that build to the crescendo on Sunday afternoon, whether it's a win in a playoff or a win on the final hole. It's just, we want to watch that moment and we want to be a part of it as a fan of this game. But now when we come to the AIG Women's Open, you see how much is happening with influencers and with social media, and everyone has a platform, from the players to broadcasters to other representatives in the game. And I think that that's so exciting, because that allows us to share this wonderful event with a much, much broader audience. And it's not just restricted to people that might or might not be watching the television. So I think that the social media, side of the way the stories are told is just wonderful. And the players have a responsibility to tell their own stories, and we all have a responsibility to do it as well. And it just helps us to share what's going on here further and wider around the world.
Okay. And Ellie, in your opinion, I've got some data here actually. Sweden has significantly more female proportion of golfers, actually 25 to 30% more than the UK's 11 to 15%. What do you think the UK can learn from Sweden when we're talking about female representation?
That's an interesting one. I actually didn't know that the percentage was that, what you told me there. I would have thought there's a lot more actually female golfers in the UK as well, because that's the vibe that I get when I come over here, for these different events, or to film stuff with people like Iona or with my partners and everyone. I feel like there is a lot of women involved in golf over here. I do think in Sweden, if anything, what I would say, my experience growing up there and golf in Sweden compared to a place like the UK, is that we don't have like private courses the way that you guys have over here. Like everything is public in Sweden, basically. And I do think that might help to, make it more open for people, make it more welcoming. Of course, golf has a lot of tradition, and there's a lot of things in the game that people want to respect and keep the same way. But I do think Sweden has done a really great job of making golf something that is not just for a certain type of people. It's not just for people with money. It's not just for people with a certain background. I don't get the vibe always that it's the same over here too, but I do still think that you might have some of that tradition left with some places that feel more private and maybe a bit more intimidating. And already when you look at golf, it's such a male-dominated sport, and I think as a woman, I'm speaking for myself, but probably for Iona and other women as well, it can be very lonely, it can be very intimidating. And I'm someone who's been around golf my entire life, and I can still get into, experiences or situations or golf courses where I feel intimidated. So I'm wondering then how a woman that's new to this game might feel, because I've still got 25 years of playing golf behind me, and I'm still feeling like this is a bit scary. So imagine if you just picked up a golf course or a golf club, how crazy, scary, and intimidating that must feel, right? So I think the fact that everything is public and everything is very open in Sweden probably helps to, make women feel more welcome and make the barriers to entry a bit lower, I would think.
And just on that similar topic, when we're talking about female representation, what skills do you think it's important to have beyond the golf course? Because you've built a career that involves brand partnerships and doing a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So what skills do you think it's really important to obtain from a young age to make sure that we might have a career beyond playing the game?
Skills, that's a good question, like specific skills. I think overall something that golf is very great for is the social skills of meeting people, interacting with people. I feel like for me, being around the game from such a young age, I've been able to meet many people of different ages and different backgrounds. You're a kid, a junior golfer going out to play with maybe some older members at your club, and you're not just playing the game, but you're having a conversation for 4+ hours. So you have that skill of interacting and learning how to speak with people to understand their story and their background, and networking and making contacts, which is incredibly important in this industry. And I think especially as a woman, and that's something that I'm always trying to show with the work that I do, that if you work on those skills and if you build those contacts and you're open-minded and you're learning from other people's stories and journeys in golf, you can create your own path. And it doesn't have to be the traditional path. Like I mentioned before, it doesn't have to be the path of becoming a professional golfer. That's incredible for those girls that are young and that aspire to do that and dream about that, but it's also okay to have other dreams in this space. It's also okay to love golf, be super passionate. Like Iona was saying, be grateful to be, involved in this game. That's something that I think of every day, how grateful I am to get the opportunities that I get today because of golf. And I think a lot of women might not know that there's all of these things that you can do in this sport beyond just playing, right? And it's been so incredible for me coming into this just a couple of years ago, not playing golf or not doing anything in golf, to now being able to meet all of these incredible women, whether it's Iona, it's other women that work on TV, it's all of my partners. I'm working with Husqvarna, with TaylorMade, with Adidas, and there's so many women that work for those companies in different roles. It might be sponsorships, it might be, with product or in marketing, and there's so many roles and so many amazing things that you can do in this sport beyond just playing or coaching. And I think it's, if from a young age you're just open-minded and you just, listen to other people's stories, you connect, you network, and you just continue to share your love for the game. Hopefully you can find your own path into whatever career that might be. But if you're a woman in golf or a young girl in golf and, you might not want to play pro, but we still need you in this game. If you love the sport, there's definitely a place for you in whatever way that might be.
Brilliant. I think we've all got a role to play, haven't we, to making sure that we do the right things and encourage the right people and everybody to take up the game and just look at all the possibilities. Iona, you are, like I said earlier, one of the most recognizable voices in golf. I guess what advice would you give, similar to Ellie, in terms of people looking at careers in golf beyond playing?
I think my number one bit of advice would be to practice your Scottish accent. Because it turns out if you've got a Scottish accent and you want to work in golf, you can basically say whatever you want and they just believe you because they go, well, she's Scottish, so she must know what she's talking about. So that would be my first bit of advice. Any Scots in the audience out there?
Hey, we got
one. He's crossed the board. We don't come south very often. We like to stay up there. No, I'm joking. My voice has obviously helped me a lot, and I'm very grateful for my Scottish roots, very proud of my Scottish roots and to be part of being attached to the home of the game. But I think being yourself is very important, and you know, to find your own voice in this game. You know, what do you really care about? What is it you really want to say? And then lean into that. You know, you can't be anybody else. You know, all the other seats are taken. Coming into broadcasting, I can't be Andrew Cotter. I can't be Ken Brown, as much as I'd love to be Ken on the course. You can't be. They've got their own lane. They've found themselves, and this game of golf helps us to get to know ourselves better and better. Mainly through playing. You know, I think for a while when I got into broadcasting, I found I was playing less and less and less, and it was actually Martin Slumbers, the former CEO of chief exec of the R&A, who said, Iona, how often do you play golf? This was going back to like 21, and I was like, not very often, I'm too busy working. And he said, if you work in the game of golf in any capacity, it's your responsibility to play the game. And it was almost the permission I felt I needed to go and play without feeling guilty about it. So I've played a lot more since then, so thanks to Martin for that. But I think finding your own voice, finding your own authentic self will help you on the right path.
Brilliant. I guess that's a wrap, guys. You've been absolutely brilliant. Thanks, everybody in attendance here at the AIG Women's Open. Guys, one final one. What are we up to for the rest of the day?
Well, I've got getting myself some lunch. I'm going to have a little shot at this putting competition over here, hopefully make a new PB. And then I'm off to follow the world #1, Nelly Korda, on course and see if she can put a better round together today. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Ellie?
Yes, I'm going to be hosting a little putting clinic over here for some juniors. So I come over together with Husqvarna. We're going to do some drills, going to help them with their putting stroke, help them putt better. Bit of a competition, I think. And then I've got some other interviews to film on the course today. And then, maybe try and head out and watch some of the golf, of course, which I'm sure the rest of you guys are going to do as well, right? Watch the amazing women out there.
Brilliant. Okay, guys. Thanks so much, guys. Give it up. Thanks for coming. Iona Stephen and Ellie Skoog. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trey.
Cheers, guys.